Good evening, I'm Scott Robinson, and it's time for the Mr. Raymond Scammer Update. When last we left off, I had received a message from Mr. Raymond. Thanks for the update, and I also wanted to confirm if you still have the info to send the money via MoneyGram to Mr. Darwin Thompson. Waiting to hear from you soon. I do still have the info for Mr. Darwin Thompson. Not going to commit to actually sending anything to him, but I definitely have the info still. So yesterday, when I did not do an update, I had hoped that today would be the last update. Unfortunately, things just didn't work out. We weren't able to connect, and I really want to be able to record him on the phone as he gets the bad news. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So yesterday morning, he sent me, okay, good, kindly use the info to send the $150 via Western Union or MoneyGram in order for your consignment box to be delivered to your doorstep. At this point, I know he's really not looking at the fake crowdfunding website. I think he did look at it once, and I'll share some of that later. But since he's not going out of his way to go look up the information, I went ahead and sent him a screenshot of the fundraising campaign status up to that instant in time. So at that time, yesterday at about 10:58 a.m. Mountain Time, we had raised almost $100 million, $99.6 million, over 17,000 people having contributed. It was great news. So naturally, he responds, I got your email, and I would like you to try your best to send the 150 tomorrow in order for your consignment box to be delivered to your doorstep successfully. I await your swift response. Nothing. Not a thing. I just showed you a screen capture with $99 million on it. But you should, one, just recognize that that's a fraudulent thing. And maybe you do. Maybe you recognize it as fraudulent, but you still think there's some small chance you might be able to get the $150 from me. I don't know what's going through his head. Maybe it's just a language barrier. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know how to read American numbers. Maybe he thinks 99 million is a tiny little bit amount of money. I don't know. So at that point, not being able to get any sort of a real desirable reaction from him, we should talk tomorrow, Mr. Raymond. Can you call me at about noon Eastern Time? I'll be in meetings before that. Okay, I will call you by noon and make sure you are close to your phone. So, I'm up by noon. There are no messages. And by noon, I mean 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So, yeah, there's no call. Finally, at 10:38 a.m., noon, 12:38 p.m. Eastern Time, I sent him a message. Where are you? Did you get tied up in other matters? It's 38 minutes past noon right now. Just in case you lost the number, I can be reached at this number. Note, I'll only be available for another 20 minutes before I have more meetings. Because at that point, I've got to get out of the house and get into the office because, unfortunately, unlike Mr. Wojciechowicz, I do not have $99 million waiting for me. If I did, I wouldn't have to go to work, but I don't, so I do. I waited for a little bit longer, 10:52 a.m., only 8 more minutes, frowny face. Sorry, I'm heading into more meetings. Perhaps you can call me tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. That's UTC -4. I hope you have a blessed day. Now, after that, I received a separate email with a different subject. Treat as urgent, Stanley. I got your email, and I have been very busy at the office, so I think you should go ahead and send the $150 in order for your consignment box to be delivered to your doorstep successfully. I also want you to understand that I have talked to my boss that you will be sending the money today, and I don't want you to disappoint. I await your payment details today. So I didn't see that for quite a while. But I did finally reply, sorry, I simply cannot send the money until we talk. If that is not possible, then I will not be sending money. Unfortunately, I've been busy myself today trying to prepare for this newfound wealth. So, I have reasons why I can't get a hold of him, why I'm not going to send the money until we talk. But a few minutes after he had sent that email that I just read, but hours before I replied to it directly, I wrote, I see I've missed 7 calls from you in the last 15 minutes. I'm sorry, as I told you previously, I'm unavailable this afternoon, which is why a noon phone call was so important. Perhaps we can talk this evening or later this afternoon, but I don't know when. Noon today was the one time I knew I'd have free. Things are crazy here as I prepare for this huge blessing of cash. I'm sure you understand. Until we're able to talk, I won't be able to go to MoneyGram. Just FYI so you know. Don't worry, money will soon be available to you and Mr. Darwin. So he replies, when do you want me to call you? He likes it so nice he says it twice. When do you want me to call you? I'm trying to hurry these meetings along, Mr. Raymond. If I can do so and get home, I'll let you know when I'm available. What is really going on? This is great. What is really going on? Because I have been calling you and you are not picking up my call. I would like you to call me since you want us to talk before you will make the payment, because I don't really understand you. Besides, you just change overnight. I need your immediate response. So I replied to him, I've told you many times over the last 24 hours that I was only available for a limited window. I am home now. If you call me now, I will be able to answer the phone. I just tried to call you and it says this person is not available. So I guess I'm not the only busy person who cannot take calls at all times. After that, I went ahead and tried I tried calling him a second time. This time I left him a voicemail message.
We're sorry, this person is not available right now. Please leave a message after the beep.
Mr. Raymond, this is Stan Wojciechowicz. I know you've been trying to get a hold of me today. As I told you earlier, I was in meetings all day, and the only time that I had to be available was between noon and 1 Eastern Time. And since you and I are in the same time zone, I assumed that would not be a problem. Now, here it is. You've told me to call you back in your email, and I did. I'm calling you back. This is the second time I've called you. It's the first time I'm leaving a message. But it's only 8:30. I mean, why aren't you around? I'm sorry that I haven't been able to take your calls, but I told you I would not. So, anyway, please call me back tonight as late as you want. I will be around. I will be happy to take your call tonight. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And after leaving him that voicemail, the last thing that I did just a few minutes ago is I sent him another screen capture of the final fundraising campaign total. So funds a-poppin', Stanley Wojciechowicz, East Hartford, Connecticut, campaign type emergencies, $157,079,632 of $150 raised by 27,182 people. This campaign has ended and was funded. And you really need that statement to make it seem legit. It's like, oh, wow, it's not just a fake number. It's actually been funded. So that's where we're at. I really wanted to be done with this tonight. I could just go ahead and send him an email with the bad news, but I really want to try to get his reaction recorded for a later upload. I'm sure you can appreciate that. For that reason, I've been waiting all evening, but he has not called. I'm convinced that he is 7 hours ahead of me, so that by the time I was leaving these last messages after 6 p.m., it was after 1 a.m. his time zone. And you know, I appreciate it. Even scammers need sleep. You can't just keep going all the time, non-stop. You need rest to recharge because it takes energy to scam people successfully. And so every good scammer needs at least 8 solid hours of sleep each and every night. In any case, I'm hoping that he will call me tomorrow morning and that I can record it. And if I'm able to successfully record it, I will upload it. If I don't hear from him tomorrow in a timely fashion, where I'm actually able to take the calls, I'll just go the email route. I couldn't take any of his calls today, any of his 30 telephone calls today, because I was in meetings at work and I had things to do. And then, even at the times that maybe I could have taken a break and taken a call from him, I didn't have a good way to record the call for later. I've actually made some adjustments so that no matter what, I should be able to record the call. Ideally, I can get him to call me on my cell phone, which I can then patch through my board, and you can watch me conversing with him. And if that's not possible, I do have an app on my phone now where I can record both sides of my conversation, upload it to myself, and play that back. The worst case scenario is that I have to send him an email explaining everything that's been going on and trying to get a response from him. In any event, I expect tomorrow to be the last installment of the anti-scamming Mr. Raymond Wilson saga. I do have this last campaign update I've already shown you, and then I wanted to show you this. I went through the web server log files, and I think I talked about this a couple nights ago. There was one IP address from Nigeria, of all places. So what we have here are the actual log lines from this person's visit. So apparently Mr. Raymond Wilson, if that's his real name, has an IP address of 197.211.52.13. So, you know, if all of you would like to start slamming that IP address, it might be useful. He only called in, or he only looked it up the one time. 7:03 p.m. Universal Time on May the 2nd. He went to the campaign website. He went to the root webpage that has that database error that I've shown you before. He went to the donate page, which will only come up with the message that your IP address has been blocked, and things like that. So this is the sum total of all of his activity on the fake crowdfunding website. So that's it. That's all I've got for tonight. As always, I welcome and appreciate feedback in the form of comments and messages. It makes me feel good to know that people are watching and enjoying this and providing feedback. Thanks for watching. Again, I really appreciate it. With any luck, this all comes to a head tomorrow night. Until next time, take care.